Evan Hale stood near the observation window of the survey ship Solace, watching the glow of a distant nebula change colors in slow waves. He liked quiet moments like this. Life on the frontier was calm most days, and he enjoyed being part of a humanitarian crew whose only goal was to help anyone in need. He never imagined that this calm shift would become the beginning of something huge, something that would shake entire civilizations. The shift started like any other. Evan drank a warm cup of synth coffee and prepared to run a routine mineral scan of the region. The ship's AI, Lumen, gave a soft tone that usually meant nothing more than a minor anomaly. But today, the tone carried urgency. "Evan," Lumen said, "I am detecting an extremely weak emergency beacon. Signal origin unknown. It matches no human or allied frequencies." Evan frowned and set his cup aside. A beacon in this region was unusual enough, but one the AI couldn't identify meant something serious. He walked quickly to the main console and activated the display. A faint pulse appeared, slow, unstable, almost fading away completely. "Location?" he asked. "Drifting inside the northern arc of the nebula veil," Lumen replied. Evan's heart beat faster. Ships did not normally fly near the nebula veil. The radiation inside caused navigation problems, and even strong shielding struggled to handle the charged particles. He called the bridge crew immediately. Captain Marin, a calm and experienced leader, arrived within minutes along with the pilot, Raffi. The captain studied the signal with sharp eyes. "That beacon is dying," she said. "If someone is there, they don't have long." Raffi ran a quick calculation. "We can reach it in 12 minutes if we push the engines." The captain nodded. "Do it." The Solace turned toward the source, its engines humming harder than usual. The small humanitarian vessel was not built for combat, but it had one of the best medical bays in the frontier. If anyone could help, it was them. Evan prepared the medical bay for an unknown patient. He checked every stabilizer unit, every scanner, every device he could think of. They had treated dozens of alien species before, but this signal was unlike anything they had recorded. 12 minutes, he told himself. Just hold on. The ship shuddered lightly as it entered the outer edges of the nebula. Purple and blue clouds swirled outside the windows like living fog. Static moved across the panels. But Raffi kept the ship steady. Finally, the derelict ship appeared on screen. It was unlike anything Evan had ever seen. The alien vessel was long and elegant, shaped like a curved crescent, its surface covered in soft, glowing lines. The entire craft looked wounded. Parts of the hull had been torn open by some kind of explosion. Debris floated nearby like pieces of a broken dream. "Life signs?" Captain Marin asked. Lumen scanned again. 1. Extremely faint. Evan grabbed his medical bag, and Raffi guided the Solace into docking range. The docking arms connected with a loud click. Evan, Captain Marin, and 2 security officers entered the airlock. Inside the alien ship, darkness swallowed everything. Lights flickered weakly, casting long shadows across the corridor. The air carried a strange scent, something floral, mixed with metallic dust. Evan moved carefully, guided by Lumen's holographic map. The AI had scanned the ship's layout enough to identify the source of the life sign. After turning a corner, they reached a room that looked like a personal chamber. A large crystalline bed occupied the center, its inner light dim. On the bed lay a figure small, fragile, and barely moving. Evan approached slowly. The alien was a young woman, slender with almost shimmering silver-blue skin. Her hair floated slightly, as if still charged with the ship's energy. Her breathing was shallow, her hands trembling weakly. Strange luminous patterns across her skin flickered like fading stars. Evan placed his scanner gently near her chest. Her biological readings were all over the place. Her organs were failing, her blood pressure dangerously low. "She won't survive long," he said quietly. Captain Marin looked at him. "Can we move her?" Evan shook his head. "If we don't support her now, she'll die before we reach the ship." He injected her with a universal stabilizer, the safest compound they carried. For most species, it would buy time, but for her, He could only hope it worked. They carried her carefully back to the Solace. The bed in the medical bay lit up as Evan placed her onto it, and scanners activated automatically. Lumen displayed the results on a large screen. "This physiology is extremely complex," Lumen said. "She is suffering from a toxin that dissolves cellular structure at high speed. It appears unique to her species." Captain Marin crossed her arms. "Can we remove it?" Lumen paused. "I lack data. Her body chemistry is incompatible with our detox agents." Evan felt frustration rising. "There must be something we can do." He studied the readings again. Her cells were collapsing, her blood losing stability. Every second mattered. "Lumen," he said, "compare her blood structure to any known species in our database. Look for even the smallest similarity." The AI ran the comparison. Seconds passed slowly. Evan watched the alien woman's chest rise and fall in uneven rhythms. She looked impossibly young. Too young to die alone in space like this. A soft tone came from Lumen. "I have found one similarity," the AI said. "Human erythrocyte bonding proteins share a limited compatibility with a core component of her blood." Evan blinked. "Meaning?" "Meaning human blood may temporarily stabilize her bloodstream," Lumen replied. "However, this compatibility is unique to her physiology and extremely unpredictable. The procedure carries unknown risk to both patient and donor." Captain Marin stared at Evan. "We don't know what will happen if you try. We also know she dies if I don't," Evan answered. He knew the truth. He had seen death on the frontier before. But something inside him refused to let this stranger go. It wasn't logic. It wasn't duty. It was instinct, the human instinct that every life deserved a chance. "I'll donate," he said firmly. The captain hesitated but finally nodded. "Prepare for transfusion. But if anything feels wrong, we stop immediately." Evan sat beside the bed while a medical robot attached a needle to his arm. Another needle connected to the alien woman. His blood began to flow through a special filter designed for cross-species safety. For the first few seconds, nothing happened. Then everything changed. The alien woman's body glowed softly. The fading patterns across her skin brightened, forming delicate lines like constellations. The monitors beeped faster, showing her heartbeat rising to a steady rhythm. Evan felt lightheaded for a moment. Then something stranger happened. He felt a faint whisper in his mind. Not words, but emotions. Fear, pain, and then relief. He opened his eyes wider. "Did anyone else feel that?" Captain Marin shook her head. "What did you feel?" "I think she's aware of me." The transfusion continued for several long minutes. Each moment, her vitals improved. Color returned to her skin. Her breathing steadied. The glow around her became gentle instead of frantic. Finally, Lumen announced, "Stabilization achieved. The patient is no longer in immediate danger." Evan exhaled slowly. Sweat covered his forehead, but he felt strangely calm. The alien woman's eyes opened. They were bright silver, with a depth that made Evan freeze. She looked around the room in confusion, then focused on him, as if she recognized him somehow. Her lips moved slightly. "Evan." Captain Marin's eyes widened. "How does she know your name?" Evan didn't know what to say. His heart beat faster. He had never seen her before today. She had never heard human language before. And yet, she spoke his name clearly, gently, like someone calling out to an old friend. She reached weakly toward him, and he took her hand without thinking. Her skin felt warm now, no longer cold and fading. "You saved me," she whispered softly. Her voice carried a melody, unlike any human tone, soft, musical, almost glowing in the air. Evan felt a wave of emotion flow from her to him. Gratitude, safety, hope. He squeezed her hand gently. "You're safe now." She closed her eyes again, but this time, with calm instead of fear. Her breathing settled into a peaceful rhythm. The room fell silent. Captain Marin finally spoke. "Evan, this is not normal. You may have created a connection with her. Evan looked at the glowing patterns across the alien princess's skin, patterns that now pulsed in rhythm with her breathing. I don't know what this means, he said quietly. But she's alive. That's enough for now. No one on the crew could have known that this single act would ripple through galaxies. That the bond created in this moment would challenge cultures, governments, and beliefs older than humanity itself. For now, Evan only knew one thing. A life had been saved, and something new had begun. Evan Hale sat beside the alien woman for a long time after the transfusion. The medical bay lights glowed softly, making the room feel warm instead of cold. The woman breathed steadily now, and her skin's glowing patterns moved in smooth waves, almost like calm ocean tides. Evan watched her closely, still trying to understand the strange connection he felt during the transfusion. It was faint but real, like a quiet echo inside his mind. Captain Marin eventually placed a hand on his shoulder. "You need rest," she said, though her voice carried more concern than command. Evan shook his head gently. "I'm fine. I just don't want her to wake up alone." "You won't help her by collapsing," the captain replied. But she didn't force him to leave. She knew Evan well enough to understand his stubborn loyalty. Hours passed before the alien woman stirred again. Her eyes opened slowly, glowing silver under the soft lights. She turned her head toward Evan as if she already sensed where he was. He leaned closer. "Can you understand me?" he asked softly. She blinked, then nodded weakly but clearly. Evan exchanged a surprised look with the captain. The universal translator usually needed more time to adjust to an unknown language. Yet she had picked up meaning instantly. The woman opened her mouth as if searching for words. Her voice was soft, musical, almost too delicate for such a damaged body. "Where am I?" "You're on a human vessel," Evan said gently. "The ship's name is Solace. We found you drifting in space. You were very injured." The woman's brows drew together. She touched her chest lightly, feeling the new strength there. "I remember pain. Then, darkness." Her eyes moved to Evan's arm, where a faint bandage covered the donation point. "And then, I felt you." Evan froze. Captain Marin stepped closer, cautious but curious. "What do you mean?" she asked. The woman paused, then shook her head slowly. "I cannot explain, but our spirits touched. I felt your fear, your courage, your will for me not to die." Her silver eyes softened. "I am alive because of you." Evan suppressed the warm feeling in his chest. He wasn't used to being spoken to like that. "Anyone on this ship would have helped you." "No," she whispered gently. Before Evan could answer, she suddenly winced as if remembering something important. Her hand gripped the sheet tightly. "My people. What happened to my ship?" Captain Marin answered honestly. "Your ship took heavy damage. We did not find anyone else alive." The woman closed her eyes, her breath shaking for a moment. Evan could feel a wave of sadness inside himself, faint but strong enough to know it came from her. He hesitated. "Do you have a name?" She opened her eyes again. "Serenia." She spoke it softly, like a gentle piece of music. "Princess Serenia, of the Lumari Dominion." Evan blinked. "Princess?" Captain Marin stepped forward sharply. "As in royalty? As in the ruling family?" Serenia nodded. "I am the heir." Silence filled the room. The Lumari Dominion was a powerful civilization known for peaceful diplomacy and strict traditions. The sudden appearance of their missing princess could create massive political waves across the galaxy. Evan ran a hand through his hair. "If you're a princess, then your people must be searching for you." Serenia's expression darkened. "Not all of them." Evan and the captain exchanged confused glances. Before they could ask further, alarms blared across the ship. Lumen's voice echoed through the room. "Unidentified vessels approaching. Their signature matches known pirate groups." Captain Marin's face tightened. They tracked the beacon. Serenia sat up too quickly and almost fell back. But Evan caught her gently. She stared at the ceiling as if listening to something far away. "Those are not simple pirates," she said softly. "They serve a rival faction. They wanted me dead before. They will not give up now," Captain Marin swore under her breath. "We need to move." The ship shook as the first attack hit their shields. Evan helped Serenia to sit properly. "You need to stay here. The medical bay is the safest room." Serenia looked at him, worry shimmering in her eyes. "Do not stay near me. They want me, not your ship. If they find you, they will kill all of you to reach me." Evan shook his head. "You're safe with us. We're not giving you up." She opened her mouth to protest, but Lumen's voice returned. "Shields at 60%. 2 enemy vessels are attempting to disable our engines." Captain Marin hurried to the door. "Evan, stay with her. If anything happens, protect her until we return." Evan nodded, and the captain rushed out. The ship continued to shake, and lights flickered overhead. Serenia's glowing skin patterns brightened for a moment, as if reacting to the danger. "You should not risk yourselves," she whispered. "I am only one life." "No," Evan said firmly. "You're a living person. That's enough." She stared at him with wide, unreadable eyes. "Humans, you are so strange. My people would never risk a whole crew for a single outsider." "Well," Evan said with a small, tired smile, "humans do things differently." The ship jolted again, harder this time. Evan grabbed the bed to keep himself steady. Serenia watched him anxiously, her silver eyes glowing brighter. Then something strange happened again. A flash of instinct jumped into Evan's mind, an image of the hallway outside, a sense of incoming danger before the alarms even sounded. He turned sharply toward the door. "What is it?" Serenia asked. "I don't know." Evan stared at the door, his heartbeat pounding. "I think something is coming. I think." Before Serenia could question him, the door slid open, and Rafi stumbled inside. His uniform was torn, and smoke covered his arms. "Evan, we need help on the bridge. A boarding pod is attaching to the hull." Evan stood quickly. "Are any crew down?" "A few injured, but alive," Rafi said breathlessly. "We need all hands." Evan looked back at Serenia. She wore a pained expression, torn between telling him to stay and knowing he needed to go. She whispered, "Please, be careful." He hesitated. "I'll be back. I promise." As he followed Rafi into the hallway, he felt Serenia's fear again, faint but strong enough to shake him. The strange connection between them was growing, even though he didn't understand how. When Evan reached the bridge, he saw chaos. Panels sparked, the helm shook violently, and the ship's shields flickered across the main screen. 2 pirate ships circled the Solace, firing bursts of energy weapons. Captain Marin shouted, "Evan, take auxiliary sensors. We need faster targeting data." He quickly sat at the nearest console, fingers moving faster than he expected. His mind felt sharper than usual, instinctively predicting enemy movements seconds before they happened. His readings helped the crew dodge several incoming shots. Rafi stared at Evan in disbelief. "How are you doing that? You're not even trained for tactical prediction." "I don't know," Evan replied honestly. Another heavy blast struck the ship. The bridge lights dimmed. Lumen warned, "Shields at 20%. A boarding lock attached to the ship's side with a loud clang. "They're coming in," Rafi shouted. Captain Marin hit the ship-wide communication. "All hands prepare for defense." Evan felt a burning sensation behind his eyes, another echo from Serenia. Fear. Urgency. Warning. He turned toward the captain. "They're heading for the medical bay." "How do you know?" she demanded. "I just know," he answered. The captain clicked her jaw. "Rafi, hold the bridge. Evan, you're with me." They rushed down the corridors as weapons fire echoed through the ship. When they reached the medical bay, they saw 3 armed pirates trying to force the door open with cutting tools. Serenia sat on the bed, her eyes glowing brightly. She sensed Evan before the door even opened. The pirates broke through the weak spot in the metal panel. But before they could step inside, Captain Marin fired a stun shot, dropping the first one instantly. Evan ducked behind a crate, waiting for the right moment. The second pirate lunged toward the door, but Evan moved faster than he thought possible, slamming into the attacker and knocking the weapon aside. His reflexes felt impossibly sharp, like someone else was guiding them. The pirate landed on the floor, stunned long enough for Marin to restrain him. The third turned his weapon toward Serenia. Evan's heart stopped, but Serenia raised her hand, and her skin glowed like a burning star. A pulse of light erupted, blinding the pirate long enough for Captain Marin to stun him. The room fell silent. Evan stared at Serenia in shock. "What was that?" Serenia breathed hard. "Your blood. It changed something inside me. Gave me strength I never had." Evan felt his chest tighten. Their connection, her glow, his heightened senses, they were linked. Captain Marin looked at them both. "This is bigger than any of us knew." Outside, the pirate ships retreated, unable to board again. Evan turned back to Serenia. She looked at him with a mixture of fear and trust. "Evan," she whispered, "whatever has happened between us, it is only the beginning." And deep down, he already knew she was right. The hours after the pirate attack passed in tense silence. The crew of the Solace worked to repair damaged systems, while Evan stayed near Serenia, feeling uneasy. Something inside him kept warning that their problems were far from over. That strange connection he shared with her had only grown stronger since the battle. When she was afraid, he felt a chill in his own chest. When she calmed down, he felt the pressure ease. Serenia sat quietly on the medical bed, watching the glowing lines on her skin with confusion and worry. They were brighter now, moving in gentle waves as if responding to her emotions. Evan stood at her side, arms crossed, trying to understand the situation. Captain Marin finally entered the room, her uniform slightly burned and her face tired after dealing with the aftermath. "We need to talk," she said in a firm but careful tone. Serenia straightened. "Is the ship safe?" "For now," the captain answered. "But that won't last. Those pirates weren't random. They came for you." Serenia nodded slowly, as if she had expected that. "They serve a warlord named Kalen. He is part of a powerful faction that wants control of the Lumari throne. If I die, the succession becomes easier for them to manipulate." Evan felt a knot tighten in his stomach. "So they don't just want you captured. They want you gone." Serenia lowered her eyes. "Yes." Captain Marin paced the room. "If Kalen knows you survived, he'll keep coming. And once word spreads that a human saved you." Serenia lifted her head sharply. "No one must know about the transfusion," she said strongly. The first sign of authority she had shown. "If the Dominion discovers human blood flows through me now, it will cause chaos." Evan frowned. "Why? We just helped you." She looked at him with sadness. "My people hold ancient beliefs about purity. They believe our genetic line must remain untouched. Mixing with other species, especially in someone of royal blood, is considered impossible and dangerous." She paused as her glowing skin dimmed. "Some will think I am no longer fit to rule." Evan leaned forward. "But your life was saved. Doesn't that matter?" "In my heart, yes," she whispered. "But in the eyes of many, it makes me something new, something they may fear." Captain Marin crossed her arms thoughtfully. "So, you're saying if we return you home, your people might reject you? Or worse," Serenia said quietly. "Some may try to correct the situation by ending my life altogether." Evan felt anger rise in him. "Then we can't let you go back alone." Serenia looked at him, and the glowing patterns on her skin fluttered softly. "Evan, you have already risked your life for me. You should not risk more. I'm not leaving you," he said firmly. "I don't care what your people think. You deserve safety." Serenia looked away, emotion clouding her eyes. Before anyone could say more, Lumen's voice filled the room. "Incoming transmission. Priority level. High. It appears to be from the Lumari Dominion." Captain Marin exchanged a concerned look with Evan. "They found us faster than I expected. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing a tall Lumari man with regal posture and golden eyes. His expression was stern but also relieved. "Princess Serenia," he said. "By the stars, you live." Serenia stood slowly, her body still weak. "Advisor Terran, I am safe." Terran looked at her carefully, then shifted his gaze to the humans. "We thank you for rescuing her. All of Lumari owes your crew a debt of gratitude." But there was something sharp in his tone, something that made Evan uneasy. Captain Marin stood tall. "She is safe here. What are your intentions?" Terran answered smoothly. "We wish to escort her home at once. The Dominion is in chaos since her disappearance. Many factions are forming. We must restore order." Serenia hesitated. "Terran, is Kalen involved in this chaos?" The advisor's expression tightened slightly. "There are rumors. Nothing confirmed." Evan caught the change in tone immediately. Serenia must have sensed it too. She stepped forward. "Before I return, I must speak openly. I was attacked. My ship was targeted deliberately." Terran's eyes grew cold. "We will investigate, Your Highness. But for now, you must come with us. It is unsafe for you to stay with humans any longer." Evan stiffened. "We're protecting her." Terran turned his sharp gaze toward Evan. "And we are grateful. But her place is with her own people now." Serenia flinched. Evan could feel the stress inside his own mind as if it were his own anxiety. Captain Marin spoke firmly. "The princess is recovering. We won't hand her over until we are sure she is safe." Terran's expression darkened. "Captain, withholding royalty is a violation of interstellar protocol." Serenia suddenly lifted her chin with confidence Evan hadn't seen before. "Enough, Terran. I will return, but not without them." Terran looked shocked. "Your Highness, bringing humans to our capital is highly irregular." "It is my will," she said, voice firm. Evan blinked. He hadn't expected that. Terran bowed stiffly. "Very well. Prepare your ship. We will guide you through Lumari space." The hologram faded. Evan turned to Serenia. "Are you sure about this?" She looked at him with calm determination. "If I walk into my home alone, I will be surrounded by political traps. If you are at my side, the truth of your kindness will protect me. And," she hesitated, "there is also our connection. I feel stronger when you are near." Evan gently placed a hand above hers. "Then we stay together." They soon reached the edge of Lumari space. Massive, crystal-like defense satellites glowed softly in the distance, marking one of the most powerful borders in the galaxy. The Solace followed 2 royal escort ships through shimmering gates of energy. The capital system appeared slowly through the star haze. Lumari architecture filled the view, tall spires of crystal, floating platforms, and glowing bridges connecting cities in the sky. The sight was so beautiful that even Raffi stopped to stare. Serenia watched the view with mixed emotions. "This is my home, yet it feels different." The ship landed at a central docking platform. Hundreds of Lumari citizens gathered below, gasping in awe and relief at the sight of their princess stepping out alive. But whispers soon spread. "Something is different about her. She glows brighter than before. She moves like a hybrid." Evan felt Serenia grow tense beside him. He sensed her fear like a cold breeze. The connection between them was so strong now that even their thoughts seemed to brush against each other. Terran appeared again, bowing respectfully. "Your Highness, the High Council awaits you." Serenia nodded. "Evan comes with me." Terran hesitated but eventually agreed. They entered a large hall, where the High Council sat 12 elders dressed in flowing silver robes. Their eyes glowed faintly, studying Serenia as if she were a rare artifact. One elder stood. "Princess Serenia, your return is a miracle. But you appear changed." Serenia held her ground. "I survived, thanks to the humans." The hall erupted in whispers. Another elder narrowed his eyes. "How exactly did they help you?" Serenia took a breath, but Evan felt her fear. She knew telling the full truth could cause disaster. Before she could decide what to say, Lumen's voice whispered in Evan's earpiece privately. Warning. There is an energy buildup behind the council chamber. Unknown source. Evan's instincts surged. He stepped forward quickly. Wait. A sudden explosion shook the hall. A door burst open, and armed figures stormed in, loyalists of Warlord Kalen. Panic spread instantly. Serenia grabbed Evan's arm as glowing energy built around her skin. Her eyes shone like stars, brighter than ever before. The attackers shouted, "The princess must fall. The throne belongs to Kalen." Evan pulled Serenia behind a broken pillar. Captain Marin and Raffi grabbed blasters dropped by guards and returned fire. Another glow erupted from Serenia, stronger than in the medical bay. A wave of luminous force pushed the attackers back. Evan felt it too. Her power surged through their strange bond. One attacker yelled, "She carries human blood. She is impure." "Stop her." The council froze in shock. Serenia trembled with fear and anger. "You monsters attacked me, hunted me, tried to end my life." Evan touched her shoulder. "You're not alone." She looked at him, and something inside her shifted courage, replacing fear. She stood tall, glowing like a rising star, and faced the council. "This is who I am now," she said, "and I will not hide it." The room fell silent. Evan realized that everything was about to change for Serenia, for the Lumari Dominion, and for humanity. Their fight was far from over. The hours after the explosion felt heavy around Ethan as he moved through the corridors of the alien capital. Every step echoed with the weight of everything he had done and everything that had yet to come. People bowed to him now, but he never felt comfortable with it. He only wanted the princess to live and for all of this chaos to stop. But peace was always fragile, and he could sense that many eyes still watched him with suspicion mixed with awe. The princess walked beside him, her steps slightly uneven but stronger than before. Her skin glowed faintly with the new strength she had gained from the merging of their blood. She carried herself with dignity, but she still looked at Ethan as if she did not understand how someone like him could exist. Every time she looked, he felt something warm rise in his chest, a strange feeling that had nothing to do with battle or fear. As they reached the council chamber, the princess slowed down. She could feel something tense behind the tall metal doors. Ethan looked at her with concern, but she shook her head gently. She had grown stronger, but now came the part of her role she feared most, the moment she would face those who still doubted her right to rule. The doors slid open, revealing a half-circle of council members standing with rigid expressions. Their robes shimmered with the silver colors of their ancient ranks. The air felt thick with distrust and hidden anger. They looked first at Ethan, the human outsider, and then at the princess, whose appearance had changed more than anyone expected. The eldest counselor spoke first. His voice was calm, but the calmness felt like a blade. "We must discuss what happened. The explosion, the attack on the city, and the condition of our princess. There are questions that must be answered." Ethan stood quietly. He knew this was not his place to speak first. The princess lifted her chin and looked at them with steady eyes. "Ask your questions. I will answer." One of the younger counselors stepped forward. His eyes were sharp with doubt. "Your body carries human blood now. The changes in your energy signature cannot be denied. How can we trust that you remain the rightful heir? How do we know this outsider has not contaminated our throne?" Ethan felt anger rise inside him, but he stayed silent. It was not his fight. The princess, however, did not stay silent. "My life was fading," she said slowly. "I was dying. No healer could save me. No medicine could restore me. A stranger, someone who owed us nothing, gave everything he had just to keep me alive. His blood did not contaminate my throne. It saved it." The room grew quiet, but the counselor did not look convinced. "It may have saved your life," he replied carefully. "But what if it changed you into something we do not understand? What if the throne itself rejects you now? What if this human altered the future of our people by his presence?" Ethan felt the weight of those words. He never wanted to change their future. He only wanted to keep a promise he made to a dying girl who looked at him with hope in her eyes. The princess took a slow breath and placed her hand on the table. A soft pulse of energy spread from her palm, filling the room with a golden light. The council members gasped. They could feel it. Her power was stronger than before, more stable, more alive. "My connection to the throne is not weakened," she said softly. "It is stronger. My life force is no longer fragile. I can feel the pulse of our ancestors more clearly than ever. If anything, the gift of his blood has made me more capable of leading our people." The eldest counselor closed his eyes, sensing the energy more deeply. When he opened them again, he looked at Ethan with a strange mixture of disbelief and respect. "This is not something we have words for in our history, but the power is real. Her strength is undeniable." Another counselor stepped forward with a troubled expression. "But what of the explosion? What of the attackers? They targeted her. They targeted the human. There must be a reason." Ethan nodded slowly. "There is a reason," he said quietly. "They wanted the princess dead because they feared what she represents. A leader strong enough to unite her people again. Someone whose strength comes from more than tradition. Someone who understands sacrifice." The council members murmured among themselves. Ethan's calm voice carried a conviction that silenced many doubts. The princess placed a hand gently on Ethan's arm. Her touch was warm, and it steadied him. "The attackers may fear change," she continued, "but I do not. And I know that I cannot lead with fear in my heart. I will lead with strength and with the help of those who stand with me." The council still looked tense, but the oldest among them stepped forward and bowed his head slightly. "Your words are clear. Your energy is strong. We may not understand the merging of your life force with this human, but we cannot deny the truth we feel before us. The throne recognizes you. That is enough." It felt like a long weight lifted from the room, but not everyone agreed so easily. One counselor, tall, sharp-featured, with cold eyes, glared at them with open anger. He stepped forward, pointing a trembling hand at Ethan. "Even if she is stronger," he said darkly, "the presence of this human is dangerous. He is a risk to our traditions, a risk to the bloodline, a risk we cannot allow." The tension snapped tight. Ethan sensed the hostility in the air. The princess stepped forward protectively, but the counselor moved faster, pulling a concealed weapon from his sleeve. Ethan reacted before he could think. His body moved on instinct. He grabbed the princess and pushed her out of the way as the weapon charged with crackling energy. Time slowed for a brief moment. The council gasped. Ethan braced for the blast, but the light never reached him. The princess stood in front of him. She had moved just as quickly, blocking the blast with a shield of golden energy that surged from her body with incredible force. The energy hit the attacker, sending him crashing into the wall. The room filled with shocked silence. The princess trembled as the last of the energy faded from her hands, but she remained standing. Ethan caught her before she could fall. She looked up at him with tired eyes. "I will not let anyone harm you," she whispered. The council was stunned. They had just witnessed something impossible. The princess had not only survived an attack, she had unleashed power far beyond anything expected of her. The eldest counselor quickly signaled guards to take the attacker away. His face was pale with shock. "We cannot deny it any longer," he said slowly. "The princess has become more than we imagined. Stronger, braver, and more connected to our future than any ruler before her. This human did not weaken her. He made her whole." Ethan felt the weight of her leaning against him, but she was smiling softly. It wasn't the smile of a princess. It was the smile of someone who felt free for the first time. When the meeting ended, Ethan and the princess walked out into the open air. The sky had turned a soft purple, with stars beginning to shine. People in the streets bowed as she passed, but she barely noticed. She was focused only on Ethan. "You saved me again," she said quietly. "You saved me too," he replied. The wind brushed around them as if the whole world exhaled in relief. The princess took Ethan's hand gently, as if trying to understand the strange bond they shared. Everything about her felt different now, stronger, brighter, more alive. and Ethan knew that he was partly responsible for that. And yet, he felt humble. He never wanted to be a hero or a symbol. He only wanted to keep her safe. "Ethan," she said softly, "I want you to stay. Not because my blood carries yours now. Not because you saved my life. But because I trust you. More than anyone." He looked at her, at the hope and strength in her eyes, and felt his heart settle into something warm and certain. "I'll stay," he said. The princess smiled, her glow brightening slightly, as if her body responded not to power but to emotion. Together, they walked toward the palace, where challenges still waited, where threats still existed, and where the future was uncertain. But for the first time, both of them felt ready. Ethan had come as a stranger with nothing but his courage. The princess had survived because someone believed her life was worth saving. Their lives were now connected, not by accident, but by choice. And their choice would shape the future of not only their own lives but their entire world. It was the beginning of something none of them had imagined. A story of courage, trust, and a bond, stronger than blood. A story that would shock the entire galaxy.